In every life, there comes a moment, a quiet reckoning, where the noise fades and the soul whispers, "Come home." Not to the familiar walls of your past, but to the vast, untamed wilderness within. For me, that call came from a place I had never seen, yet it felt like I had always known. Madagascar. This land is unlike any other, a place where the earth feels alive, where baobabs stretch towards the heavens like ancient sentinels, and the forests hum with the songs of lemurs, their calls echoing through the dawn mist. Chameleons shift their colours like living rainbows, while the scent of jackfruit lingers in the warm tropical air. The landscape is a story unto itself. Crimson cliffs that bleed into sapphire seas, rolling highlands blanketed in green, and coral reefs that shimmer beneath the waves, teeming with life. Here, the natural world feels untouched, as though God painted it with his hands and left the brushstrokes visible. But it is not just the land, it is the spirit of the people who call it home, a kaleidoscope of cultures, the warmth of community, and a deep faith that transcends words. Even when language fails, connection finds its way. In a shared laugh, a gesture, a moment of stillness, a gaze. The tuk-tuks buzzing through bustling markets, the taxi boats gliding over turquoise waters, the stray dogs and cats that wander with quiet grace, all tell their own stories. This is a place where the lines blur between worlds, where stories are etched into the red earth and carried by the trade winds. Yet alongside this beauty lies a sobering truth. Madagascar is ranked the 9th poorest nation in the world, its children born into a land of boundless potential, yet often denied the tools to unlock it. The Human Capital Index, amongst the lowest globally, reveals a harsh reality. Malagasy children face overwhelming odds, their futures stifled by lack of access to education, their dreams weighed down by a scarcity of opportunity. And still, there is magic here. A stray dog's wagging tail, a child's laughter rising above the chaos, the resilience of a people who make so much from so little. Through their eyes, I began to remember myself, the parts I had forgotten, the truths buried beneath years of noise and neglect. This land didn't transform me, it brought me back to remembrance. Madagascar is not just a destination. It is a revelation. A land of constructs, of raw beauty, and deep struggle. This is where I found myself again. And this is where we will begin. We speak of freedom as if it is universal, a right, a truth that belongs to all. But what if freedom is not a word? What if it is something else entirely? Here in Madagascar, we asked, what does freedom mean to you? And we were met with silence, hesitation, a searching. Not because people did not understand the word, but because it did not exist in the way we expected. In Malagasy, the closest term is faha fahana. It speaks of release, of being unburdened, yet it is rarely spoken. And so we must ask, is freedom the absence of restraint, or is it the acceptance of life as it is?
Freedom. It's like a burn. Ouais, liberté. Liberté. La liberté, au fond de nous, c'est comme un enfant. Et si on n'oublie pas l'enfant qu'on est, on est toujours libre. Et la liberté, elle est large comme les galaxies et les étoiles. Comme un oiseau qui vole, qui cherche une fleur. Et il y a beaucoup de fleurs dans l'univers, il est libre de choisir. Et l'indépendance, c'est ça la liberté aussi. D'apprendre, tout est libre en fait. C'est l'homme qui a compliqué la chose. Yeah, peace and love. Yeah. Philosophy, you can translate in English, yeah. Because it's so large, freedom. Yeah. Like this, freedom is like this. Yeah. Creation.
Liberté.
La liberté peut nous guérir. Beaucoup
Life,
de
no? Just
life. Freedom can change you.
Steve, can I give you this?
Heart of crystal.
For centuries, Madagascar's freedom was not its own. A land touched by colonial rule, a people once shackled by the slave trade, an independence fought for, won in 1960, but still marked by struggle. Here, freedom has never been just a concept. It has been something taken, something reclaimed. But history alone does not define it. Because for the Malagasy, freedom is not an individual pursuit. It is woven into the fabric of community. Here, life is lived in the collective. Family, village, ancestors. A web of connection stronger than the self. Western ideals speak of personal freedom, the right to choose, to move, to decide one's fate. But here, freedom is knowing your place, your people, who you are. It is not the breaking of ties, but the honoring of them. And so, when asked what freedom means, many do not think of themselves.
Alors, la première question, c'est qu'est-ce que l'arbre, cet arbre sacré, qu'est-ce qu'il signifie pour vous?
En fait, l'arbre sacré, pour nous, ça signifie un lieu de prière. Et c'est un lieu sacré aussi, d'où les esprits des descendants royaux vivent dedans. Et on vient ici pour faire des prières, des vœux, etc.
Ok. Et pour toi aussi, ça signifie la même chose ou ça a une autre signification peut-être?
Oui, c'est bon, c'est ça.
La même chose, ok. Et la seconde question, c'est qu'est-ce que la liberté, ça signifie pour vous?
La liberté, comment?
Quand je dis le mot liberté, à quoi ça vous fait penser? Qu'est-ce qui vous vient en tête et qu'est-ce que ça signifie pour vous?
La liberté, donc, ça signifie qu'on peut faire ce qu'on veut, mais même on peut faire ce qu'on veut, donc on garde toujours la tradition jusqu'à maintenant. Parce que notre tradition, ça reste notre tradition.
Ok, ouais. Même en étant libre, il faut quand même garder.
Il faut qu'on garde la tradition.
Ok. Et pour toi?
Liberté. Comme bilang gasting. Aminakahy ndraiky zegny hoe afaka miaigny libre zegny hoe la liberté andalovako dia afaka hoe tsy gêné koa zay za mandalo amin'ny raha andalovako. C'était ça.
Ok. C'est quoi vos rêves? Les choses que vous aimeriez faire si tout était possible? Qu'est-ce que vous rêvez de faire? Ou d'être, ou d'avoir?
Donc, comme on est maintenant libre, donc on peut s'améliorer, on peut aider beaucoup de personnes de vivre normal aussi, c'est pas comme avant, parce que comme dans la vie, il y a aussi des gens il n'y a pas de solution, il n'y a pas de moyens, même en liberté, donc il n'y a pas de moyens de vivre, quoi. Et je pense que j'aimerais aussi aider aussi la même personne comme moi.
Donc, toi, ton rêve, ce serait vraiment d'aider les gens, c'est ça?
Oui, d'aider les gens.
Donc, ta
Oui.
famille ou tout le monde?
Tout le monde.
Tout le monde, ok. Parfait. Et toi?
Naka ndraiky zay hoe tiako zay mba rêvenaka zay hoe mba mampivoatra jeune mitovy za.
Ok. Ok, parfait.
Parfait.
Ok. Et la dernière, après c'est fini. C'est quoi vos inquiétudes dans la vie? Qu'est-ce qui vous fait peur? Est-ce qu'il y a des choses qui vous font peur dans la vie, qui vous inquiètent pour le futur, pour vous, pour...
Oui, il y a beaucoup de choses parce que vous voyez comme maintenant il y a beaucoup de changements climatiques et il y a aussi comment je dirais, il y a beaucoup de changements climatiques, etc. Donc, puis après, il y a beaucoup des animaux ou des choses qu'on voit aujourd'hui, ça commence à disparaître à cause de feux de brousse, etc. Donc, c'est quelque chose.
Donc, toi, par exemple, ce qui t'inquiète, c'est la survie de Madagascar?
La survie de Madagascar.
Par rapport au changement climatique,
Oui.
tu as peur que Madagascar, il y a des problèmes à cause du changement climatique?
Voilà, c'est ça, des feux de brousse,
l'extinction
l'extension de protection, construction, etc.
Ok, c'est super. Ok.
Mais pour moi,
Tu peux parler en anglais.
fiaignananakahy amin'ny amaré zay asa hagnano akory hoe momba ny fiaignananakahy amaré zay. Juste ça.
Voilà, même si c'est moi qui parle et tout, il faut regarder la caméra. Ok.
Elle va regarder elle, mais on regarde la caméra.
Ok. Alors, première question. Qu'est-ce que la liberté, ça signifie pour vous? Quand je dis le mot liberté, qu'est-ce que ça t'évoque? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire pour toi, ce mot-là?
Je comprends.
Ok.
Pour moi, la liberté, surtout ici en Malagasy, Madagascar, la liberté, ça veut dire la liberté en malgache, fafana. Fafana, c'est liberté. Je peux vous donner des exemples comme des oiseaux sont libres. C'est comme ça la liberté. Mais en Madagascar, on est libre. On est libre parce qu'on fait tout ce qu'on veut, mais pas de quelqu'un qui donne des ordres comme ça, tu fais comme ça, patati patata, tu vois. Et ici, chez nous, c'est pas pareil comme à l'Est. Chez vous, Vaza. Parce que chez vous, quand on fait quelque chose, il y a des règles, il y a des règles comme ça. Non, tu peux faire ça, tu peux pas faire ça. Mais chez nous ici, on fait tout ce qu'on veut. Et c'est ça la liberté ici. Mais je pense que c'est tout.
Ok. Et toi, tu penses que tu es libre? Tu trouves que tu es libre?
Oui, un peu. Un peu libre.
Ok.
Un peu libre. Parce que quand je dis je suis libre, j'ai pas assez trop libre parce que il y a encore des problèmes ou comme ça.
Ok. Et toi, du coup, pour toi, tu dis rien à la liberté?
Moi c'est la même chose à lui aussi, j'ai rien à dire.
Ok, parfait. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu voudrais accomplir dans ta vie? En règle générale, genre c'est quoi les objectifs de ta vie, tes rêves si tu pouvais faire tout ce que tu voulais.
Je sais pas comment expliquer ça, c'est ça le problème.
Ah, ok.
Mba managna, mba magnampy fianakaviako, olo jiaby sahiragna marikitry zaho. Tsy zegny tegna tanjogna fampianarana koa hoe zaho hoe tafaboaka amin'ny fiainana.
Ah, ok, bravo Eliane.
Tu as dit quoi?
Attends. C'est bon? Oui. Je m'appelle Romina, j'habite à Douane. J'ai dit depuis mon enfance. Ouais. J'ai 19 ans. J'ai étudié comme guide touristique in Nosibé.
Ça te plaît?
J'aime beaucoup être guide, mais pour l'instant, j'ai encore étudié, je fais stage.
Est-ce que tu as des rêves dans la vie?
Ouais, j'ai rêvé
C'est quoi tes rêves?
d'être guide.
Un guide touriste.
Guide.
Ok.
Depuis mon enfance, comme ça.
Ok.
C'est mon rêve d'être guide. En plus, ici, c'est bel village. C'est très belle. J'aime beaucoup rester ici toute ma vie, mais on va travailler. On ne peut pas rester ici parce qu'on ne trouve pas de travail ici, mais...
Ok. Et est-ce que tu aimerais voyager en dehors de Madagascar?
Ouais, j'aime beaucoup.
J'aimerais aller où? Comme les pays où...
Peu importe, mais en Canada, États-Unis.
Wow.
Ouais, j'aime beaucoup aller. Mais c'est ça.
Ça te plairait d'aller habiter pour toujours dans un autre pays ou juste pour faire des vacances? Parce que tu aimes bien ici.
J'aime beaucoup aller rester.
Ok. Et tu préfères la vie ici à Madagascar?
Ouais, ici c'est libre. On est libre ici à Madagascar. Quand on partit à l'extérieur, on travaille là-bas. Mais ici, c'est libre. On peut faire tout ce qu'on veut, par exemple, ici. Mais extérieur, ouf, c'est ouf.
Vous devez travailler et du coup, tu es moins libre quand tu es en dehors du village.
Ouais.
Ok. Génial.
Can a person be free if their future is uncertain? For many in Madagascar, freedom is not a question of ideals, it is a question of survival. What is freedom without food, without work, without the means to build a better life? For some, the weight of daily existence makes freedom feel distant. But freedom is also found elsewhere in the land. Madagascar is more than an island. It is a living entity, sacred and untamed. To many, the land is not just something to be owned or worked. It is heritage. It is history. It is the voice of those who came before. To be free is to be in harmony with it, to walk where your ancestors walked, to honor what they honored. But what happens when the land is threatened, when forests disappear, when the balance is lost? If freedom is tied to the earth itself, then to lose the land is to lose something far greater. What is freedom? Is it independence, the right to choose? Or is it something else, something that does not fit neatly into a single word?
Okay. Is it rolling?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make the points that I noted down about freedom. And it strikes me that a lot of people associate freedom with the ability to choose between different things and like to do what one wants, which was pointed out in the conversation that we had yesterday. And at the same time, not having to make decisions is also like a freedom, like people feel free from having to make decisions, and that's this juxtaposition between what appears to be freedom here in Madagascar and what freedom is in at home. This ability to be free to do what one wants and to make decisions and choices that agree with one's preferences is also dependent on those preferences, like what one does with that freedom. And I have to ask whether we are free to decide what our preferences are. I'm free because I get to do what I want. But am I free to decide what I want? Or is what I want something that has been programmed in me by choice or not by choice? That's a question that I have. Is the illusion of freedom still freedom? If everything is illusion, or even if everything isn't illusion, if I have the illusion that I'm doing what I want to do, and therefore free to choose to do what I want to do, does it matter that what I want to do hasn't been a choice that I've actually chosen to make myself? It's just been programmed in me. Is the illusion of freedom still freedom? Can you escape the prison that you don't know that you're in? And does it matter that you're in a prison if you don't know that you're in it? This thing with not being able to make, this thing with being free to not make choices aligns with something that one of our guests said about freedom being the state of having nothing left to lose. And that is freedom. Free of things, free of choices, having nothing left to lose. Or maybe having nothing left to lose actually sparks all of the choices. Like really a question of what do you really want at the end of the day when it's not maintaining what you already have.
Et c'est tellement enrichissant de voir comment eux vivent et comment eux perçoivent les choses. Et comme je l'ai dit avant, je voulais un endroit qui vraiment mettre une gifle en fait, et c'est ce qui s'est passé. Donc on voit comment les gens vivent ici, on se rend compte de la chance qu'on a d'avoir tout ce qu'on a chez nous, en fait, tout le confort, tout, ne serait-ce que l'accès à la santé, l'accès à l'éducation. Ici c'est un luxe énorme pour eux d'avoir toutes ces choses-là, alors que nous, que ce soit en France ou en Europe en règle générale, c'est des choses qui sont que tout le monde a en fait finalement. Et je me suis rendu compte que les gens ici ont tellement moins, mais que j'ai l'impression que tout le monde est tellement plus heureux parce qu'ils ne sont pas pris dans toutes ces choses du quotidien dans lesquelles nous on est pris. Ils vont pas se prendre la tête pour des petits détails, pour des petites choses insignifiantes. Ils vont pas s'énerver parce qu'ils sont bloqués sur la route. Ils vont pas s'énerver à le moindre désagrément. J'ai l'impression que tout le monde ici est juste heureux tout le temps. Quand je vois les enfants rire et s'amuser avec juste un morceau de bois ou un ballon, ou... ils profitent de chaque instant et de chaque moment et ils ont gardé ce sens du partage. Et ouais, ils sont juste tout le temps en train de profiter des uns des autres, enfin des beaux moments ensemble. Et ouais, je pense que... Attends, je suis juste en train de réfléchir. Ouais, ça m'a fait réfléchir, ça m'a fait remettre plein de choses en perspective dans ma propre vie. Et puis du coup, parallèlement à ça, j'ai aussi fait un gros travail sur moi-même. Le fait justement de partir comme ça, seule à l'étranger, ben ça apporte tellement, en fait, dans mon expérience personnelle. Je vais être, je pense, vraiment différente, mais dans le bon sens, en fait, quand je vais rentrer en France. Et ça m'a beaucoup aidé à m'apprendre, à me connaître. J'ai découvert beaucoup de choses sur moi-même. Et j'ai découvert quelles sont aussi, je pense, les choses vraiment importantes de la vie et des choses que je ne voyais pas forcément avant, les vraies valeurs de la vie et qu'est-ce que je veux vraiment pour mon futur et pour moi dans la vie de tous les jours. Voilà. Because there is so much things in my head. I'm like, oh, that.
It's like reality TV. It's like interviewing.
But that's so fun. I love to do it.
Yeah.
Beaucoup de choses, c'est très large, je pense, comme question. Mais je dirais que la liberté, c'est surtout d'être en capacité de faire les choses qu'on a envie de faire sur le moment. Et je pense que ça diffère. C'est quoi le mot ? ça représente des choses différentes pour chaque personne. Il y a des personnes qui vont se considérer libres parce que par exemple ils ont la possibilité de voyager quand ils veulent. Il y a des personnes qui vont se considérer libres parce que peut-être ils font un métier qui leur plaît. C'est très 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 large et très varié parce que finalement je pense qu'on n'a pas forcément l'occasion en fait de... On n'a pas forcément l'opportunité et l'espace pour faire des choses qui vraiment nous rendent heureux. Par exemple quand on est dans la société qu'on connaît, que ce soit en France ou en Europe, etc. Quand on est dans cette routine, dans ce système, dans cette société, on n'a pas forcément l'espace et la possibilité de faire les choses qu'on aimerait vraiment faire, de faire des choses qui nous animent, qui nous passionnent, qui nous font réellement vivre, qui fait que on a cette flamme en nous, cette étincelle en nous. C'est ça, je pense.
For the Malagasy, perhaps freedom is not the breaking of chains, but the acceptance of what is. A quiet resilience, a belonging, a way of life that values connection over separation. Maybe the absence of a word does not mean the absence of freedom. Maybe it means freedom here is not something that needs to be spoken, but something that is simply lived.
Atao hoe aminah aloha ny atao hoe fahafahana zany dia hoe liberté dia ianao afaka manao zay zavatra tianao atao rehetrarehetra fa kanefa kosa tsy hoe afaka manao zay tianao rehetrarehetra ianao dia anono foana fa hoe zay zavatra tianao zany. Dia nefa zavatra tianao zay ihany koa izy tsy hoe indesinao na hoe zavatra tianao mety tsy tian'olona mety afaka lanjainao ihany koa hoe tsy tian'olo équilibrena zegny le izy. Dia afaka zay tianao atao ataonao e. Karazany ohatra anao zao te handeha anaty ala mandeha, tsisy hoe tahotra anao, tsisy hoe matahotra ianao handeha hoany. Dia te handeha anaty rano mandeha, te hangala laoka mangala, te hangala voankazo mangala, libre anao am'izay tianao, te hanao vakansy ianao, lôsy manao vakansy. Ohatrohatr'izay zany fandinihako an'le liberté amin'ny fiainana andavanandro. Raha ny anatin'ny inona indray zany ohatra ny zavatra hafa mety azona liberté.
Efa zay, anao libre, tsisy raha ke mbo ataonao misy impidérance zegny hoe fa anao fo mila haraka anao hoe ohatra atsika olombelogno misy hoe misy zay raha tahoragna fa tsika ndiky anao mipetsaka anao zio ohatra za zio regniko hoe fa libre za tegna libre fogna eky ny saigniko za tsy miasa lohan'iny fa lefa taiza zanako magnadio tragnonaka hanasa lamba zay fogna za iregniko hoe fa misy raha midérange hoe anakory ny solution ataoko hagnadio ty, anakory ataoko ny fiaignana anaka zay raha ataoko regniko hoe mety tsisy raha midérange za libre tsara ny aiko matory za saignanaka tranquille, fonaka tranquille, tsisy ke hoe misy raha misepasy avo za misy raha tahorako ary na tsy avodiko tsara za matory tranquille, rivotro mafapo za mandeha mambolimboly za lôsy maraindray za magnome hany akô laiko vary raha maseko ameko akô libre za tsisy impidérance.
Ialana tsiny ny atao hoe fahafahana dia rehefa ny olona ray a misafidy, zany hoe malalaka ny olona ray misafidy a zay tiany atao amin'ny fiainany a, malalaka izy a mandray fanapa-kevitra zay tiany ho raisina amin'ny fiainany a, malalaka izy manao zay zavatra fatany sy eritreretiny fa mety ka tsy manimba amin'ny fiainan'ny hafa, malalaka izy a hiaraka amin'ny olona zay tiany a, de malalaka koa izy ampiasa amin'ny volany a, tsy misy faneriterenany ambadika, zany hoe tsy misy zany a olona manohitohina an'izay fahafahany zay a, fa afaka foana izy a miaina amin'ny fiainany malalaka amin'ny fomba tiany hiainana an'izay fiainany zay. De le fahafahana misy karazany maro, zany hoe fahafahana amin'ny teny, fahafahana miaina ankahalalana tsotra, de amiko zany le fahafahana de zavatra tsotra be hoe malalaka zany le olona manao zay fatany fa mety hahasoa ny fiainany, de zay. Ny afatro tiako ampitaina manerana an'izao tontolo izao a, amin'ny alalan'ity raky tsara ity a, dia tsotra be a hoe iaino ny fiainana, ankafizo ny fiainana satria ny fiainana mandalo indray mandeha ihany tsika no teraka tonga eto tany, indray mandeha any ny velona, indray mandeha koa ny maty a, de ny ray minitra, indray segondra, ray minitra, ny adiny ray sy rehetrarehetra io a de mandalo, zany hoe ny anio zany ny tena antsoina hoe fiainana, tsy raha fankapitso ny atao hoe fiainana fa anio, zany hoe iaino ny anio a, tiavo ny ankonana, tiavo ny fianakaviana, de raha mino an'Andriamanitra moa zany de tohizo fa tsara zany a, zay finoanao ataovy ihany a, fa tsara fotsiny ianao hoe manaraka sy manaja an'izay a, de arovy ny tontolo iainana, de arovy ny ala, arovy ny biby a, de endre tsara, salama daholo.
I came to Madagascar searching for something. Though I could not name it then, I knew it was lost. Lost in the expectations of others, lost in identities that I had borrowed, but never truly owned. Lost in the quiet ache of belonging, always somehow just out of reach. And so, I arrived. A rickety wooden taxi boat, a sea I did not yet trust, and a journey that would take me further than I could have ever imagined. The ocean did not welcome me gently. It did not care for my hesitation. Waves crashing, my screams roar, not of thrill, but out of fear. The kind buried deep, the kind that lives in the bones. I feared the vastness, the depths, the simple fact that I was not in control. But then, a steady hand on my knee, a whispered truth, you are safe. Mama, the woman beside me, didn't speak my language, yet she held my hand, rubbed my back, grounded me with a present that asked for nothing. And something in me, in that very moment, it cracked. The fear opened, and out spilled everything else. The rejection, the heartbreak, the exhaustion of always holding it together. The mistakes I had made, the shame that I carried, the weight of a life shaped by others, instead of by me. Wave after wave, the ocean took it, not gently, not kindly, but with the certainty of something that knew I could not carry it any longer.
I came here with an intention to bring healing to myself because I recognized that there was space within me that was being filled with other things that were not actually bringing me the peace that I needed. And I think I came here with of course an expectation, but an idea of what that healing would look like. And I say it somewhat, maybe a little bit embarrassed now actually being here, but I think I came here with the notion of, oh, some of my healing modalities will be, I'll be doing a fire ceremony and I can burn away the things that I want to let go of, or I can go into the ocean and I can rid myself of things in the ocean in a way that is very typical to some of the modalities that we use in the Western world. And there's nothing wrong with that. But actually, healing has presented itself to me in a way that has required me to abandon myself, to not think about myself and about my own healing. It's come to me in the form of connection and people, and actually how can I serve them. There's something in the surrendering and the abandonment of self and simply looking and serving and wanting to give to others that is bringing a level of peace that I've never experienced before. And I long to carry that with me when I get back. And I long for that experience to happen for everybody that I know and for those that I don't know that may be watching this. Yeah.
What is best? She's very quick, very fast with her feet.
Oh, really?
She can take pens, pencil with her feet, coloring, playing ball.
With her feet?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but he can hear. He can hear and he understands everything you tell him.
Okay.
He has a little bit difficulty to walk, but he's okay. A good football player.
Today we are in the north of Madagascar and we are meeting with a gentleman called Nathan. Nathan is from the UK, Yorkshire, and he came out here a few years ago teaching English. He then since had a dream of wanting to work with children who had learning difficulties and disabilities. And since then, he's actually launched the first school that looks after children with learning difficulties in this region of Madagascar. We're really looking forward to finding out more about his struggles, but also the joys and how we could potentially get involved in helping Nathan further this beautiful community that he's building.
She's cute.
Yeah.
She's new. She just arrived today.
Oh, first day.
Do you speak English? No, okay. But very quiet for her first day. She did it well. Julika speaks a bit English.
Her at the doorway, she's deaf, but she doesn't know that she's deaf.
Wow.
In a way. She'll still try and talk to people in every way. She can't talk, right? But
It sounds like this takes up all of your time.
most of my time, yeah. But then it's like the life that I designed, if you know what I mean. It's not like no one forced this upon me. This is like my dream, you know. So I'm happy for it to take 70% of my time. Besides this, you know, I live in quite a simple house, you know, made out of falafa wood, you know, Malagasy style. Collect my water from a well. We've got no flowing electricity in my house. I don't want it, you know. Like I live really quite simply. I'm not after many things, but this was really like the ambition of my life was to create a place like this. The idea was to create this disability centre, the first one in this region in the north of Madagascar. The future, hopefully, would be for this place to be used as like a blueprint that other places could copy in not just in Madagascar, but maybe the entire world. Areas where treatment for people with disabilities is a little bit behind the West, should we say, you know, where there aren't schools or facilities. This place could be like an example for other places to follow, you know, like a blueprint, you know, the model in which we do with our educational model or our curriculum, or the fact that we work with parents as a cooperative. These are all things that I think are not specific to Madagascar. They could be implemented anywhere, in any part of the world. You know, they're relevant to anywhere as long as
as long as there's no structure already for people with disabilities, and that's in many parts of the world. So my vision would be this place, what it could be, the philosophy that we have here and the way in which we run it and the system that we do could be almost copy and pasted to other parts. Obviously it may look little different in other parts, but you know, the way it may run might be very similar. That would be the end goal, I'd suppose. Yeah, but there's no like finish line. You know what I mean? It's always moving. Just continual growth of supporting people with disabilities. You know, like it doesn't just stop here, and we're not satisfied with this. We want this to be used as a model for other places to follow, and for other places to pop up that say, oh, we saw this place in Nussey B, we got inspiration from how they run it. We want to do the same thing, even if it's nothing to do with myself or my non-profit or anything like this. As long as we inspire someone else to create something similar, I think that would be cool. What we do here is really quite new, you know, so it's almost opening a door that's never been opened, and when you open a door that's never been opened, you've got to think of the room behind it, you know, all the cobwebs and stuff that may be in the room. These cobwebs could maybe be, you know, like discrimination against people with disabilities or misunderstanding of people against disabilities. There's so many different challenges in different contexts, you know, like then every day running this place and making sure it goes smoothly, making sure no one has an accident, making sure nothing bad happens here, that's also like a challenge. There's different types of challenges in different categories, you know, the fundraising is a huge one, then the actual running of this place is a big one. Making sure that this place is well accepted by the people of Madagascar and that we're not imposing our will on the people of Madagascar, but the will of the parents and all the people that benefit from this place is also at the forefront of what we do. You know.
So what brings you the greatest joy?
I'd say the little things. So when we pay the parents at the end of the month, the parents that have worked in the centre, then a week later we might see a student come with a new bag and they're showing off the new bag. Stuff like that really, you know, that makes me more happy than an average day here, you know. Or when I see the parents, or when I hear stories after the weekend that the kids have been to church together, or they've been to each other's houses. Stuff like that, really so small, but such a huge, that's the sort of stuff that I really like. Certain types of supplies we can find in abundance, pens, papers, stuff like that is very easy to find, you know, like wheelchairs and walking frames and disability specialist equipment is almost impossible. However, I've got a book that I'm reading at the moment, and this book shows you how to make these things from cardboard and wood.
Wow.
Making adjustable wheelchairs and adjustable walking frames from cardboard and wood. And obviously like little parts of stuff that you may be able to find, and making wheelchairs from old bike tyres and stuff. So we're going to find solutions to it, whatever the challenge is, you know, like basic equipment, yeah, we can get in abundance. More specialist equipment, we struggle with, but yeah, I think this year we're really going to focus on making a lot of stuff.
What do you've been out here for like a good few years now, but like what do your family and friends think about what you're doing, or initially, or? My
family, it's hard for them to understand, and I suppose it's hard for anybody from where I come from to understand, you know. I'm from like rural village in Yorkshire where most people are pig farmers or cereal farmers, you know. Even comprehending Madagascar is something difficult.
Tell me a little bit about that project and your other projects.
Yeah, so other projects, so alongside this disability school we've got another project in Nussey B. The name of the project is Redefining, which means our education in Malagasy. Basically it's working with children that don't go to school all across Nussey B, so those living rurally and children involved in child labour are like the main students for this. We've got 4 locations at the moment, and I want us to work in this community here also. Where these children don't go to school, what we do is we've got a team of 4 teachers that go to these locations and work with these students in these areas. We might build a classroom, or we might hire out a facility that already exists, like a restaurant or a small space, you know, like that's suitable. And our teachers go to these places 2 times a week to do 2-hour lessons. So 4 hours of free education a week for children that don't go to school across Nussey B. The education is reading, writing, numbers, play, stories and arts, and a little bit of sports, and all sort of the important academic skills that you need: reading, writing, understanding numbers. The rest of the stuff, when it gets a bit more complicated, we don't focus on, but really we're really aiming for literacy. That's the main focus of this project here. Now, mate, min pechka yotuli, famin chin chin.
He can come and join you on
Yeah.
camera if he wants.
You know, min pechka yotuli, mangala sare no. Is via. The end goal of that this project for the Disability Centre, the end goal of this project is for our students to be sort of transitioned into work, where we create jobs for the students and then sort of transition them slowly out of school into work. For the other project, for the out of school children, Nifiana and Sika, the other project is literacy, or if they're the right age, enrol these students into school and get them at a level where they'd be appropriate to be enrolled into school.
Okay.
If they're 14, 15 years old and they're illiterate, can't read and write. Hello. If we can help to make people literate in their first language, that's important. That's really important, doesn't matter what your views on the world are, you know, like everybody really should be able to read and write if they're capable of doing so. If someone's capable of being able to read and write, but just don't have the opportunities and nobody to teach them, that's such a shame, you know, like that's, you know, the amount of things that you're unable to do if you're unable to read and write, if you're illiterate, it's vast, you know, you don't even realise how much you read and write, it's automatic to us now.
What you have done here is remarkable.
Thank you, no,
Like, absolutely
Mhm.
remarkable, and it only takes a moment for you to look into their eyes to see what you're doing for them.
Thing though, like, it's not just me, it is really a we thing, you know, like, without the other teachers and without the other staff and the assistants and the parents and all of it together, you know, we could make all this, but we could have no students. Or we could make all this and we have teachers that are horrible spirited, that, you know, like, disrupt the students and violent towards the students, you know, like, it's a we, not a me, you know, like it really is, you know, it's about everyone involved in the whole process. We've got a word in Malagasy, fiavanana. We don't use it so much in the north, it's more of like fiavanana, which means like the cohesion of everything working together, you know, like everything working peacefully one another, you know, the elder people helping to raise the younger people who are nice to one another and create like a nice society and everything works nicely together. That's fiavanana. Yeah, that's
what you're achieving here.
yeah, that's what we like. Yeah, that's what we try and model it on. You know, if we can put all this down on our curriculum and blah blah, but if the end goal really would be, if we put it in one word, fiavanana, you know, that probably would be that's the end goal of this place, or the continuous goal of this place is fiavanana, really. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a nice
Of course, yeah.
This island, cradled by the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean, has long been a sanctuary for life, for tradition, for the unspoken stories of those who call it home. But perhaps, most profoundly, it is a sanctuary for something far greater. Freedom. Not the kind written in laws or bound by borders, but the freedom that lives in the heart of a people, in the rhythm of their footsteps, in the quiet resilience of those who have learned to rise time and time again. Here, in the embrace of the ocean, we are reminded that freedom is not merely given, it is discovered. For some, that discovery happens in the vastness of the sea. For others, it is amongst the wildlife, within the laughter of children within villages. And for those who journey here, searching, it is in the realization that freedom is not found in escape, but in returning to oneself. Madagascar does not promise answers. It does not hand over absolution, but it does something far more powerful. It mirrors back to us what we have always known, that the greatest freedom of all is the one we give ourselves.